Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome in to Morning in the Valley. It is almost that time. T-minus 3 days away from the opening day of the 2025-26 season. Glad you are with us today. Coming up, we will talk with, as we conclude our preseason previews, we will talk with the radio voice of the Indiana State women. John Sherman will be in. We'll also check in on the Evansville Purple Aces, the women as well. We'll get into all of that. We've also got plenty of exhibition games to talk about from Wednesday night, as everybody pretty much getting in their final exhibition. Still a couple outliers this weekend we'll get to before their regular seasons start. We've got a signing to talk about, a commitment at least, a junior college commitment to Bradley we'll talk about coming up as well. And let's see, what else? We got some preseason watch list honors for some coaches in the Valley. Lots to get to. We're all over the place today, but getting ready to land the plane on Monday. And we will be live in Sioux Falls, South Dakota on Monday from the Field of 68 opening day showcase. I will be there. Michael Admire, our friend from Drake Radio, will be there, as well as Murray State will be playing at 12:30 against Omaha. Drake will be coming in right after them at 3 o'clock. Bradley taking on St. Bonaventure over in Rock Hill, South Carolina. They'll go at 10 o'clock right after we're on the air at 9. So a lot happening on Monday, and can't wait to get to that. And we'll get to all that coming up here in just a bit. If you haven't done so already, please head to YouTube, subscribe to the program, Morning in the Valley. It's free. Just hit the little subscribe button. You can hit the notification bell so you are notified every time we go live. And again, it won't be Monday because I will be on the road, but starting Tuesday, we will also be there Tuesday morning. So we're going to keep trying to go in pretty much every day in the morning, but then also our Morning in the Valley overtime show at night after games. Come right in right around 9 o'clock when the games are ending and talk to the coaches, players, media that affiliated with those as well. So a lot coming, and it'll all start on Monday. So please subscribe for free at YouTube, Morning in the Valley. Like, comment, share, all that good stuff. And again, for you audio only folks, the podcasts are available on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts as well. So we're trying to cover all the bases for you. All right, let's get into our news of the day and headlines of the day. And this one may be, I don't know, like as we have said many times over the last couple of weeks. If you win an exhibition game, hey, we won. If you lose, it was just an exhibition. Let's not worry about it. My other sort of longstanding rule, I guess, personal rule when it comes to exhibition games is you just don't want to, no matter what happens, no matter what the scoreboard says, you just don't want to walk out of there feeling badly. I don't know if that was accomplished on Wednesday night in Evanston, Illinois, when Illinois State played their final exhibition game against Northwestern and lost 100-65. Certainly the team that we have all, across the board, nationally, everybody, this is the team to beat in the Missouri Valley this year. And to go lose, yes, an exhibition game by 35 points. It was eyebrow raising, if nothing else. Now, it was an exhibition game, and this is the spin we can put on that. Most certainly, yes, for the most part, the big guns played. Chase Walker played for the first time, did not play in the exhibition game at Illinois. Neither did Johnny Kinziger. Neither did Brandon Lieb. So they got a chance to play first time in there together. That's going to happen. The halftime score, and for me, final results are what they are. But for me, it's almost the first 20 minutes are of more importance, just to kind of see. You kind of feel like that's where most of the 1-versus-1s is happening. You get to the second half, you start getting into more tinkering, and obviously that's not hard and fast, but that's kind of my feeling. At the half, it was 41-34. So, I mean, it was a 7-point, you're down 7 at the half on the road, at a team that, I saw, I think it was Field of 68 had their preseason power rankings from the Big 10, the Big 18, and I think Northwestern was 15th or 16th. So, look, you're still down 7, fine. Didn't shoot the ball very well. 3 for 18 in the first half, 4 for 27 for the game. You got to believe that's not going to continue as you move along the season. The 5 starters, Walker, Kinzinger, Bowden Scunberg, Jack Doherty, Ty Pence, combined to go 2 for 17 from beyond the arc. You'd like to think that's not going to continue. That's fine. But still gave up 100. And that's the part, like, as much as anything, it's like, man, you give up 100. I'd almost rather be beat 80-50 than 100-65. Just that the defense got away. And this isn't a Northwestern team. I was like, when's the last time Northwestern scored 100 points in a game? It was 5 years ago. And if you go back to it has happened 3 times. They have scored 100 points 3 times against Division I teams since 1993. That was my senior year of high school. I am old. It was just not a great defensive performance. There's no real, especially in the second half, they gave up 59. Now, again, to go back to let's be fair. It's a 7-point game. Chase Walker checks out in the second half with 17:25 remaining, and the lead was 5. It was 43-38. When he checked back in 2.5 minutes later, that lead had ballooned to 13. And Chase played about 3.5 minutes. Now, when he checked out, to be fair, in the other direction, that 13-point lead was 19. So he was not the commonality of when he's in, good things are happening. But again, he played 19 minutes overall and only played 6 or 7 in the second half. Kinzinger played 25. That was the most of anybody. So it was an eyebrow-raising final result. No question. Are we going to get all the way wrapped around the axle about an exhibition game? Absolutely not. But it's certainly, they have to go to Ohio. They're not going to start until next Thursday. Their opener on the road in Athens, taking on the Ohio Bobcats. That one may be a little more of we need to see what's going on. And especially with I think I don't know what the best way to put this. It's not benefit of the doubt, but look, November is always an interesting time because teams are trying to figure themselves out. So many new guys, and who you are in November isn't who you are in December, isn't who you are in January moving forward. But there's at least an expectation and a hope with Illinois State when you bring all those guys back that you can get around the learning curve a little bit faster. Yes, there are new pieces certainly this year, but the main nucleus are all guys that have played together for a significant amount of time that you're going to be ready to go on November 3rd, or in this case, November 6th. That is what we'll have to see. But certainly eyebrow raising was was that final score that popped in. And they've got some, again, for Coach Peden, probably the best thing in the world. If those guys were feeling good about themselves, feeling themselves a little bit of, hey, everybody thinks we're going to be great. Well, you see this, and then that film session, I'm sure, was fascinating yesterday to be able to go over that. And, they'll be ready to go when they get to Athens coming up next week. Southern Illinois had their final exhibition game on the road. They went to Lindenwood on Wednesday night. They win 86-76. Took a little while. Played from behind for a good chunk. Able to eventually take the lead. Isaiah Stafford had 18 points. Rollins Aligbe, the second exhibition in a row that he is asserting himself. 17 points, 9 rebounds for the big man inside there. That has been good to see. And I think, a guy that didn't have a huge impact last season, but you're like, okay, this is what they're going to be able to get. I think that is really outstanding for them. Indiana State went to Butler. Disappointing, obviously, with head coach Matthew Graves not there due to his recently having his triple bypass surgery. I know that was a game he was very excited about, and being able to go back to his alma mater and a place he played and coached and all the like. Wasn't able to be a part of it, but Indiana State loses 105-80. It was kind of like they played 4 10-minute quarters, lost every quarter basically by 6 points. That was kind of how it went. So got up early, and then it just, down 6, down 12, down 18, and it just kind of slowly leaked away. Camp Wagner really struggled from the outside. He was 1 for 9 from 3. Butler shot 50%. They were plus 11 at the free throw line. They were 20 for 29. Indiana State only got there 18 times and only made half of them, made 9. And then Sterling Young, the reigning SWAC player of the year from Florida A&M, he had 15 points, so he went to lead the way. So he is certainly somebody that they're going to lean on a lot this year. But again, it's fine. You go play Butler, you play him on the road. There's not, I think, the reaction when they lose by 25 at Butler as opposed to Northwestern beating Illinois State by 35 is that the expectations for Illinois State obviously so much higher this year than for Indiana State. So I think for the Sycamores, you look at this, you kind of just brush it off, and you're like, okay, they got a chance to play. That's great. We'll see them again next week when they get rolling. But that is such is the life of the burden of expectations. Bradley's women had their exhibition game at home, hosted SLU on Wednesday night. They win in overtime, 74-68. It's just been fascinating to me to see how everybody has handled these exhibition games throughout this preseason, where sometimes, when you win, you pound your chest about it. When you lose, you pretend it didn't happen. Bradley won and almost pretended it didn't happen. They posted some pictures from the game. They had no final score posted, had to go to SLU's account, saw to their official website and their schedule page, and it was like, oh, they lost 74-68 in overtime. So good job by Bradley. Again, that is a program on the rise with Coach Popovic Goss, and she's in year 4. It has been a upward trajectory through the first 3 years, and we'll see what kind of leap year they can make in year 4. Northern Iowa, their ladies had no problem with Truman State, 72-34. Northern Iowa will open up the season. Let's see. They've got Monday. They're going to be rocking and rolling on Monday. North Dakota State coming into the McLeod Center. So a good final tune-up there for UNI. And lastly, Valpo able to beat NAIA program Grace. It was the first exhibition game under the lights for first-year head coach Courtney Boyd. 89-70 was the final. Grace plays that wild style where it's just every dead ball almost. They're bringing in 5 people. They're going to play 100 miles an hour, get up 100 shots a game, and Valpo was able to slow them down enough, hold them to 70 points. Fiona Connolly had 18 points there. It was a 200 possession game. I mean, that's how much. I mean, each team had 100 possessions. Basically, 70 is the average. So it was just a track meet up and down, but a good one for Valpo to go. Another team that don't know what the expectations really are externally for them this year. Assume they're going to be a bottom half of the league type of team as Coach Boyd comes in and just starts over. Has some new pieces, has some returning pieces, but some new pieces as well. But trying to build that program and in the way her image and so on moving forward. But we shall see. They will open up. Let's see. What do we have here? They open at DePaul on Tuesday, so it'll be a tough test for them under the lights on Tuesday when it gets rolling. But that was a good first tight there at the Arc up in Valpo for Coach Boyd. All right. So now we will move along to Indiana State. It has been a long couple of weeks, but today we will be concluding our preseason previews, and we're going to do it with checking in on the Indiana State Sycamore program, and got a chance on Wednesday afternoon to catch up with the radio voice, John Sherman, of the Indiana State program, year 2 of the Mark Mitchell era. So let's welcome in John Sherman and our conversation from a couple of days ago as we preview the Indiana State women. John, a season ago, 4-28 overall, 2-18 in the Valley in Mark Mitchell's first year with the program. I don't know if I'm smart enough to come up with a word to describe the year, but I would assume nightmare probably covers most of it.
Yes.
Not
the
fun,
way you want it. It wasn't. The kids were, for me, they were great. I'd been around them long enough to get to know them, and was sorry that they left. And you guys have one of ours in
right.
Keslin. So I wish them all the best. But it is a new year, and here at Indiana State, it's a brand new team. It's a brand new coaching staff. One holdover, new GAs. So we're all trying to figure out what 25-26 will look like, not only myself, but everybody involved.
Coach Mitchell got hired late. I mean, he
Yes.
came in the middle of May in 24. And I mean, shoot, at that point, the portal is, you've got what you've got. And obviously when you get to the end of last year, it was just like, okay, everybody's got to go and we're going to start over and kind of bring in my folks. Just, was there any maybe overarching frustration that you saw where he was just like, this isn't these aren't the people I need to do the things the way I want to do them. And that when you sweep it out like that had to have been sort of the commonality of all of it.
Jeff, I think that was. There were, he wants to run a full court, high pressure. Here we go. We're going to, let's get the ball up and score. And I just didn't think last year we had that personnel that could do those kind of things. I think he was able to go out this year, get to the portal, get the type of players that need to play that type. And as you know, and they've been here since June, much like everybody else, and getting their work in, and you can see the progress. And, it's one of those where you take, one step forward, and at times you're going to take two steps back. Whether it's, that ankle injury, sidelining somebody during the preseason. But I think he's got the pieces that he wants to play his style of basketball. And it's been successful wherever he's been, when he was at UIndy, whether he was at Fairleigh Dickinson Florham, whether he was at St. Peter's, he's had success with that type of system. And, he's trying to implement that here.
And I think that's the, for maybe fans, there's just like, geez, 4-28. What, how do we bring this guy in? I could have won 4 games coaching the team, but you just look at his pedigree, and to your point, been a Division I head coach, turned St. Peter's around, goes undefeated at Division III level, wins a national title. The dude knows what he's doing. It's just a matter of getting the right pieces to plug in there.
And I think that's with everybody, and especially in this day and age of college basketball. That roster is going to flip no matter what at some point in time. It'll be really hard to look at a roster and say, we don't have 9 new players or, 10 new players. This year we have 14 new players. It just so happens to be, but it's a year 2. And him coming in late last year, you're kind of just piecemealing things. Okay, this person's still left. We hope that young lady can do what we think she can do. And this is what I'm working with here. And it's a completely different style than what the last staff, what Chad and Deidre had. So it was a hard year to go through for everybody involved. But I think he's gone out and able in that 12-month span to be able to get some of the pieces that he's looking for to run what he wants to run.
You had some talented kids on that team last year. And sometimes it's all about fit. And it was like, it didn't work. And the kids we talked about, Keston Sechrist going in conference to Murray State, Bella Finnegan going up the road to Illinois State, Chloe Williams out to Nevada. It was like, these are kids that, going to places that are high level type places. And again, just going back to sometimes it just doesn't work. Just doesn't work.
Sage Stahl's up at Purdue.
Yeah.
So it's not like, the pieces weren't here. Talented, just a different, as you mentioned, just didn't work. And wish those kids, they're great kids to be around. Keslin and Bella and Sage, a lot of would just pop in my office to say hello. We got to know their parents, which is always the fun part in my job here at Indiana State, and also, being on the road with them during the conference year. So wish them all the best, and they're going to be great individuals when they graduate, and they're going to be great to society wherever they end up. But yeah, you're right. Sometimes it just doesn't fit. And, the sun came up today. I saw it. I was up early enough at 5 a.m. I saw it. So we go on, see what happens here in 25-26.
Well, we usually talk about key additions to rosters, but it's everybody. So we had to weed it down just a little bit. But some of the names that certainly jump out, I think a young lady, and it's maybe a buy low situation. Kennedy Claybrooks coming in from SEMO, who she was playing a lot, scoring 10 points a game over there, got hurt, and got a chance to bring her in. Mary Flowers out of McLennan Community College, big 6'2" forward, just a big body. You need to be able to compete in this league. So a lot of kids maybe from the JUCO level, maybe, got hurt. And again, the buy low options, but kids that you really think can come in and make an impact right away.
Yeah, I think Kennedy's one who you've seen her leadership come a lot in the preseason. She actually played against us last year. and had a really good game. She only played in 7 games at SEMO, but was averaging almost 10 points a contest. But I remember talking to Mark about her, just her floor awareness, her basketball IQ. You can see it on the floor here that she commands. She's running the show, and she will let you know she's running the show. And sometimes I think Mark tells her, hey, you got to be even more vocal at times. Amari Flowers, 6'2" sophomore, big body inside, who runs the floor really well. You may think, okay, we can get her on some speed, but I'm telling you, when it comes that late third, fourth quarter, she's still running up and down the floor. She's going to be able to get 4 to 6 extra points by running the floor and beating the bigs down. So that's going to be interesting to see. The other one who's kind of turned some heads around here is Tierney Kelsey, transferring from Jackson State. She's had herself a nice preseason as well. So I think, and she's only a sophomore, but a big guard, 5'6". I think what Mark has done this year, he's gotten more athletic, and he's gotten not size-wise, in thickness-wise, but I think in length-wise. Yeah, been able to, to cut off those passing lanes. And if he gets that pressure defense that he's been looking for, I think those people are going to be able to play a factor.
And just speaking from firsthand on the outside experience with Murray State, when they came in 3 years ago from the Ohio Valley Conference, the quick knock was just too small to compete against the size in this league. And so the zag to the zig was, well, we're just going to go small, but we're going to play as fast as humanly possible, and obviously cut the nets down a year ago. For Coach Mitchell to kind of go and not an apples for apples equation, but to be up tempo and pressing and doing all that, there's at least a blueprint of we can flip this thing pretty fast right now.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and you guys had the young lady Young in the middle, so that kind of helps a little bit. If you want to bring her down, I know she's still on staff, but if she's open to anything here. But I joked with her. I saw her after the game last year, and it's one of those you want to send them flowers at graduation that they're finally done. But I think what's happened in Murray can happen here with that flip the switch. To get things going, you're still going to have those battles. Drake, Northern Iowa, Illinois State, UIC, they're all in that, talent area. I think this is probably as balanced a valley as we'll see in quite some time. I think Belmont obviously is the top team with what they have coming back, especially at the guard spots. But I think the rest can battle everybody inside throughout the year, and I think you're going to have a really good Valley season.
When we look at the non-conference schedule, you almost hate it, but it's just sometimes it's the way it goes. You get four home games, 2 non-D1s in there, going to the Cherokee Invitational before Christmas, play some big brands, Michigan State, maybe Ole Miss as well in there. And then, but overall, it feels, for just lack of a better word, manageable. And from you're not playing 7 money games. There are games on here that even on the road, to go to IU Indy, to go to Edwardsville is a good program, Austin P, Western Kentucky. It's like we can go win there, and hey, maybe you go 4, 5, 6, 7 in the non-conference where it just feels like this program just needs a palate cleanser off last year. Let's go win some games. We're a good. We've got talent here. Let's get some confidence. Let's go rolling into the conference.
I think the non-conference for us will be a confidence booster. Yeah, I think it's going to show some things. We start off at IU Indy, which is a 45-minute drive for us here. Come home to East Illinois, which is always a really good rivalry with us. Going to Western Kentucky and Austin P, playing it like a Valley weekend. Mm-hmm. So that's going to tell us a lot right away and how we can travel. And you mentioned SIU Edwardsville. It's a good program there. Come home for a couple. But then as the non-conference starts winding down, you've got Northern Illinois coming in here. We go to Butler, which is another hour drive. So you got a Big East school in there. You mentioned Michigan State, possibly Ole Miss. So there's some tests. But I think early on with some confidence, get a couple of wins in there. and let's see what happens. Does this type of system, and I always think the non-conferences to find out what your role is going to be. We can sit here on whatever, October the 29th or whatever it is, and say, okay, we think so-and-so can be here and this is what's going to happen. We all know the non-conference is what develops your role on that team. So I think the roles still have to be figured out. And I think those first 5 or 6 non-conference games will kind of tell us where our strength and where our weaknesses are, and then get ready, because we open up, our Valley season opens up with Drake at home. Right. Welcome to the Valley, ladies. And then, we get, then we got you get Michigan State, possibly Ole Miss, and then you go into Illinois State. So, the non-conference is going to help us, but the early part of the Valley Conference is going to wake us.
There's a definite frying pan and fire reference we can make at that point. What does success look like for you this year?
It's a great question. And I think,
what does success look like for Mark Mitchell this year?
Well, for Mark Mitchell wants to be 31-0. That's where success is. I think the growth, if you can see what they want to do from an offensive and defensive standpoint, if they can stay with it, if they can get the up-tempo going, if they can get the defensive side of the ball back to where he wants it to be, where they're playing more full court, the up-tempo, where they're causing disruptions in the passing lane. If they can hold on to the ball this year, which was a big problem a year ago, I think that'll show, and it'll show early. If we can keep the system in place and not change it around or slow the tempo down, I think that'll be success. Win-wise, I never put, no matter what sport I'm calling, I never put a number on wins. But I think this team being more athletic will help us. And I think it's a little bit deeper than it was a year ago. I think he can probably go 9-10 deep, which in this conference you have to. And the one factor everybody has is who's going to get hurt. Where are the injuries coming and at what position? I think if we lose Kennedy, at any point in time, we're going to take a step backwards. I think if you lose any of the bigs, because we don't have a lot of them, that's, you may have to go to basically a 5-guard offense.
Sure.
So those are things. But I think, to answer your question, I think just being able to keep the system in place for a full year and to see the numbers in some categories go up, shooting percentage-wise, turnovers, drop that down, distribute the basketball. I think those can be signs of success for us.
He's John Sherman, the radio voice for the Indiana State women's basketball program. John, thank you so much for the time, and hopefully we can do this again soon.
You bet, Jeff. Take care. We'll see you soon.
There's John Sherman. Thank you for his time, and that is, it's just rare. It's not rare nowadays in the portal era when you see a team lose everybody when there's a coaching change. It's kind of rare to see a coach going into year 2 and then still just get the deck cleared. But when we talked to Coach Mitchell rather earlier this summer, that was kind of the vibe he had. Was just like it was not a fit with me and last year's bunch. So we're going to start over and with a full year of recruiting and then being able to get in the portal right at the end of the season. We'll see how it goes. But again, his pedigree has been able to turn programs around and win at the level he was at, win big. So we'll see what kind of leap they can make going into year 2. Let us turn our attention now to a little south of Terre Haute. We're going to go to Evansville, Indiana, and talk about the Purple Aces of Evansville. Speaking of head coaches, not year 2, but year 5 for Robin Scher, who was 7-12. The Aces went a season ago, 3-17 overall in the Valley. Good for and knocked out in the opening round in Evansville at the Ford Center in the opening round of the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament. This is in doing the research on this roster, and we got a chance to talk to Robin. I don't know, it's probably been 6-8 weeks ago now. I was reminded in doing the digging and the research for this for this segment. I don't know. I dare you to find me 5 rosters in America that are younger than this one. And you are going to have fingers left over trying to fill out that 5, I believe. 5 freshmen on this roster, 6 sophomores, 1 redshirt sophomore, and 1 junior. And the junior comes out of the junior college ranks. The redshirt sophomore, Georgia Cox, who played at Eastern Illinois for 1 season. She has redshirted for a year, so she has 1 season of Division I college basketball experience. That is your upper class. 1 season of Division I college basketball experience. It is young, young, young. The good news is that youth, there are certainly some building blocks to be the foundational pieces for this program as they try to improve on a 7-win campaign from a season ago. 9 kids got into the portal at the end of the year. 6 of them 7 of them found homes. 2 of them were out of eligibility. But the most significant departure, without question, is Maggie Hartwig, who was she was the stat stuffer for Evansville a season ago. 16.5 points a game, 9.2 rebounds. She ends up transferring out to South Dakota State, the number 1 with a bullet mid-major program in the country. We'll see what kind of impact she can have going from Evansville to South Dakota State. Julia Palomo, who averaged about 8 a game as well, she hopped into the portal. She transferred out to Albany. But Hartwig was, that was a young lady that Coach Scher leaned on a bunch last year. And so now it is, who can we lean on? Well, they have returners coming back and kids that scored a bunch for them last year. Most significantly, sophomore guard Cameron Runner. She averaged 15.5, 5 rebounds as a 5'8" guard last year for Evansville. Joined by Kylie Norcus, who averaged 10 a game, but only played 4 games last season before she had a season-ending injury in November. So she had started early in the year, and losing a piece like that, I don't know how many games she made a difference in, but I bet they win more than 7 if Kylie Norcus is able to be around for the entire season. And then you also have Logan Lubers-Palmer, who averaged 6.5 points a game, was an all freshman of the week caliber player last season. So that's sophomore. Still young kids, but kids that have been in the program, have a year under their belt with Coach Scher, and they are going to be leaned on heavily this year with just such a vast majority of underclassmen on this roster. When you look at the additions, it's a lot of them are freshmen, and a lot of this is also just, we're going to guess, I think, a little bit, because so much is going to be leaned on from the kids that are back and those sophomores that we mentioned. But the ones that have me intrigued are Georgia Cox, who we mentioned, who redshirted 2 years ago, comes from Australia. She is 6'4". She played at Eastern Illinois 1 season, obviously a developmental big, where she redshirted her freshman year. Last season played about 5 minutes a game, averaged about 2.5 points a contest. But from the development standpoint, if that development is able to continue on a northward trajectory, you can't teach 6'4", and you have to have size in this league to be able to compete and not just get run over. So how much Georgia is going to be able to contribute this year, I think, will be very impactful to how much winning Evansville can do. And then the Georgia to Georgia connection, Georgia Ferguson, who comes from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, who is 6'3". And again, freshman, it's just size, and we can't teach the size. So I'm going to bank on the pedigrees of 6'3" and 6'4", and just what in their development process, what can they give this year to Coach Scher, and in terms of being able to try to impact winning. This schedule this year is suboptimal, is probably the best way to put it. Just as much as anything, from a standpoint of 11 non-conference games, 8 road games. Your first 4 are on the road. Don't get a home game till November 20th, when they will host IU Indy. They will host Northern Illinois. They will host Austin Peay. That is the home schedule before they get into conference play. On the road, they have some money games on there. They're going to Iowa. They're going to Purdue. They're going to play St. Louis, who Bradley, again, just beat earlier this week in that exhibition game in overtime. Going to SEMO, Eastern Kentucky, Wright State, Edwardsville, Dayton. There are some games in there they can get, but that is a lot of travel. It is a lot of hotel rooms. And, when things are kind of going sideways a little bit, if they go sideways, and look, they're going to go sideways at some point this year with just such a young team trying to find itself, that you hope there are enough wins in November, kind of get that confidence going, like, okay, we're building something here. We got things rolling a little bit, that when they get into those, man, we've been on the road for weeks right now, that it doesn't become a drain, and that there can be some energy from, hey, we're together and we're fighting together on the road and such. So sometimes it's just the way the schedule falls, and home contracts and all of that. And there's 1,000 things that go into scheduling, but I'm sure that Coach Scher would love to have more than 3 home games, but that's what they've got. And they will start with SEMO, and you're just trying to just hang on and kind of survive till you get that first home game, 4 in a row on the road to start before they get rolling on November 20th at home against IU Indy. But another one of those teams, kind of in that group from last year where you had Evansville, Southern Illinois, Indiana State. They were in that, 10, 11, 12 range. And now obviously Missouri State out. So 9, 10, 11. Which one of those teams can make a leap? We saw it last year with Bradley, that they made a significant jump, still got up, I think, to 8th in the end, but you saw them separate from the bottom grouping. Which one of these 3 this year can do it? And I think with what's coming back, Indiana State is they are, as we talked with John Sherman, they are a clean slate. We don't know what they're going to be able to do this year. Southern Illinois lost their best player in Gift Uchenna from a season ago, but they've got a bunch of kids back that were hurt last year. How will they be able to get back into the swing of things this year and be able to help Kelly Bond White? But then you have Evansville, where it's like they have kids that played and scored and were big contributors, and now they're going to just need a little more. If you want to call it a knock, they're just sophomores. And so that is the maturity and the growth and the elevation of those and the development of those kids will really be, I think, the main key to how much of a leap Evansville is able to make this season. All right. Well, we've done it. We've done all 22 teams. That was, I say it was good. I hope you thought it was good. We got through all 22. So that was good. And it was probably just in time, since we are ready to roll coming up on Monday, of course, with the opening day of the season. All right, let's go back to headlines of the day and some preseason coaching. We'll call it awards. It's at least a watch list, which counts for something. Bart Brooks from Belmont, Rochelle Turner from Murray State on the Kathy Delaney Smith Award watch list. That is given to the mid-major coach of the year. Just the 4th year for this award. 3rd year for this award. Coach Brooks has been on the watch list every season so far. Why not? Belmont wins 20 games every year. You can just mark that down. So they're going to be one of the better mid-major teams in the country. Murray State, 8th this year in the preseason collegeinsider.com mid-major poll, and are the reigning and defending regular season and tournament champions in the Missouri Valley. Rochelle Turner certainly deserves her spot on here as well. This is much like we had the preseason player of the year, the Becky Hammond Award watch list we talked about earlier this week that had Murray State's Haven Ford and Hallie Polk on it. This is a list that is fluid. They'll have a mid-season list coming up in January or February, a finalist in March. They'll award they will give out the award around the Final Four. But this list that you see is fluid. Some coaches will coach their way off. Other coaches will coach their way on before we get to the mid-season cut-down list, the semifinalist list. But always nice to see some early recognition, and no real surprise these two are on the board, at Coach Brooks and Coach Turner, for everything that they have accomplished in last year and what they are expecting to accomplish again this year. Picked 1-2 in the Missouri Valley preseason poll. So congratulations, if you will. I don't know if there's any certificates or plaques for being on a watch list at the start of the year, but nonetheless, they are on it for now. And hopefully they will be there as the season rolls along. We get to February, they're having a good enough year, and they will be on there. We have a commitment for the boys from Peoria. And Bradley, it is Ben Thornbrew, 6'8" power forward, has committed to Bradley. And this was, talk about speed dating. He committed or was offered by Bradley 2 weeks ago on the 17th. He took his visit to Peoria on the 26th, just this past Sunday. And then on Wednesday night, he said, I'm going to be a Brave. He is a redshirt sophomore, plays at the College of Southern Idaho Junior College. He's already, that is his second school. His first school as a freshman, junior college ranks average 21 a game. And so now he will play his redshirt sophomore season at the College of Southern Idaho. Will have 2 years of eligibility left. Will come in with 3 years of college basketball under his belt. So he will be an experienced big, about 6'8", 220. Got that man's body already rolling in, but had offers in the last couple months from Kansas City and Jacksonville State. And so it almost kind of feels like this was we're going to grab him before anybody else gets a chance to see him, before he gets another year. I believe he was out last year with an injury, redshirting. And so this will be his sophomore season, and maybe flew a little under the radar, but Brian Wardle and his staff able to identify and go, we got to get him, and let's get him on the hook right now. So signing day is in a week. So they'll be able to get him locked up here shortly. It's like, hey, the season starts, but then we have signing day next week as well. So something to look forward to for that class of 2026. This is awesome. And yet at the same time, also, I feel like requires a grievance on my part that Indiana State announced that they have signed a partnership with the local Pepsi distributor with Mountain Dew there in Terre Haute, that all the coaches will wear Mountain Dew patches on their apparel. And this is the wave that's coming. And whether it will start with the coaches, and then eventually, sooner than later, they're going to be on the jerseys of the college players. And this is all just added revenue stream for these programs in this revenue share era to be able to generate as much funds as you can to help your program. I believe Indiana State is the first program in the Valley that, at least on the coaches' side, will wear the branding of a company, in this case, Mountain Dew. The issue that's going to be dealt with the uniforms is there's already sponsorship branding on uniforms, and it's the Nike swoosh or the Adidas or Under Armour or whatever shoe company that these schools have partnered with. And so I think there's a lot of money, and between money and apparel and shoes and uniforms, all that stuff that is the quid pro quo of it all there with these shoe companies and the teams. There's going to have to be some negotiation about, hey, somebody else is going on that uniform, Nike, maybe on the other side, but you're going to have to share some of that real estate. Their appetite for allowing that to happen will probably ultimately be that'll be the issue. Now, we've seen it. It's happened in the NBA. It's happened in baseball. It's happened in the WNBA. It's coming. It's just a matter of when that's going to happen. But for coaches' apparel, game on. Mountain Dew is ready to roll there in Indiana State. And as someone who has consumed, I don't know, roughly 9 million gallons of Mountain Dew here in my lifetime, Mountain Dew, if you're listening, I mean, I have sleeves, and I mean, you can tattoo Mountain Dew across my forehead if you want. I don't care if we're getting a lifetime supply of Mountain Dew or any, like, listen, I'm for sale. I think I can say that. I can say that out loud, especially for Mountain Dew. Yeah, we'll do that very much so. But just the message to you fine folks there out in Mountain Dew land. All right, one final thing before we get out of here today. The NCAA announcing that we are going to get injury reports when we get to the NCAA tournament. And there is no other way around this other than to say this is in response to the gambling sphere that we now live in. It's going to start next year, men's and women's NCAA tournament, that teams will be required the night before their game to announce if someone is active, questionable, or out. And then 2 hours before the game, they have to update that to allow the folks that are interested in that information to take care of that. This is a way to, it's not going to stop it for sure, but it's a way to keep these athletes from being harassed, whether it's on campus by fellow students, whether it's on social media by other people just looking for information. Hey, are you hurt? Hey, you going to play? Well, it's like just point them to the official report, and then again, that's not going to stop it. Maybe it'll be just, if nothing else, a speed bump to slow things down a little bit. But I think 100%. You've seen some conferences do it. Some of the bigger conferences do this, I believe, for football, that they've started to do this on a regular basis. They're doing it for the NCAA tournament in 2026. That is the canary in the coal mine, and I will all but guarantee that next season, 2026-27, that will be standard operating procedure for teams, that they will have to give injury reports on a look. It's not a, some schools get weird about it where it's like, hey, it's a FERPA violation, I can't tell you anything, they're just not playing, and you can surmise how they are. Some coaches just will tell you exactly what's going on. It's all sort of a case by case basis. But you're going to get this where at least the day before the game, because unlike, and again, into the gambling sphere, unlike football, lines are put out for football games basically the minute last week games are over, so people have a whole week to bet. For basketball, they're usually the day before, and that's where this injury report, they're not going to be asking for it ahead of time. And obviously basketball, they play more often, but it's going to be the day before. Is somebody questionable or out? And then 2 hours before the game, confirm that and let them know. So that'll be coming next year. I'd all but guarantee it, but at least for now, we know it'll be part of the NCAA tournament when we get there. Okay, that does it for this edition of Morning in the Valley. Monday, we have basketball, and I'm fired up and ready to roll. We'll be in South Dakota. We will be in for the Field of 68 opening day marathon. We have a bundle of games throughout the day. On the men's side on Monday, starting at 10 o'clock, Bradley and St. Bonaventure, they'll be playing in South Carolina, part of the Field of 68. It'll be on X. It'll be on YouTube. The Racers of Murray State will play Omaha at 12:30. Northern Arizona and Drake play at 3 o'clock, also part of the Field of 68. They'll play right after the Racers play. The night games, Air Force is at Belmont. Southern Illinois will host McKendree, a non-Division I. UIC hosts Detroit Mercy, and Indiana State will be on the road at Charlotte. On the women's side, a full slate as well, as Drake will open up Education Day at Eastern Illinois, high noon. The Bulldogs, so Allison Pullman and the gang, will play at EIU at 4 o'clock. UIC hosts Robert Morris. Belmont with a big test at Oklahoma. Indiana State on the road at IU Indy. Northern Iowa hosts North Dakota State. Illinois State hosts Dayton. And Murray State has one final exhibition game on Monday. They don't open their season until next Friday. They'll host Trevecca. Northern Iowa's men have an exhibition tomorrow against Upper Iowa. So the UNI men, the Murray State women, they've still going to sneak in an exhibition game prior to their season's opening. But I think roughly that's, 13, 14 games on Monday. We'll preview them for you coming up Monday morning from Sioux Falls. On Tuesday, we'll begin our daily content here in the morning. Tuesday morning, we'll have all the fallout from Monday night. We'll get into all that. And then again on Tuesday night, we'll be back with Morning in the Valley overtime, talk about Tuesday night game that have just wrapped up. But we'll get into all that coming up next week. While you're here, go to YouTube, subscribe for free, Morning in the Valley, hit that notification bell, and you'll be notified every time we go live. Our audio only folks, all our podcasts now available on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. It's time, kids. It's time. Take a deep breath, get a nap this weekend. Don't overdo it on Halloween tonight. Get a little candy maybe if you have to. Steal it from the kids. All good. Be ready to roll bright and early. We'll be ready for you at 9 o'clock Monday morning, rolling right into St. Bonaventure and Bradley at 10 o'clock. It's time. We made it through the whole summer. Can't wait to be with you on Monday. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday morning on game day. How beautiful is that? On game day. We'll see you Monday. Thanks for watching Morning in the Valley.